So I'm here with Declan Ryan. Declan Ryan from Irelandia Aviation and the executive chairman of Viva Air. Thank you for your time and for joining us.
You're very welcome.
So let's get right into it. I know you're busy. So we know that in the news right now, the Colombian government, after spending most of their summer saying that all airlines were going to be treated equitably if there was any kind of financing or backup from the government, has announced a $370 million loan to Avianca, even though Avianca is in bankruptcy. And it seems like a shock because I know that Viva was hoping to get a much smaller amount, and Viva's in much better shape. Can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, we had a conference call with the president and his advisors in March at the beginning of the pandemic. And he reassured us then on the call that all the carriers would be treated equally. And of course, we took that at face value. Subsequently, we had heard a lot of rumors, but didn't act upon them until the announcement was made that Avianca was going to get $370 million. The package that Viva has been offered is about $25 million, and it's through a different scheme. It's a scheme for businesses and so on. We were quite shocked. We kind of get that Avianca is a bigger carrier and it's loved, and people feel like it's the Delta or the Lufthansa of Colombia. We get all that, but the proportionality between 25 million for ourselves and 370 million for Avianca. The other thing you have to take into account, Loren, is Avianca is shrinking because of Chapter 11. And about 12 months ago, they had nearly 200 airplanes. And in the next 6 months, they're going to be operating 57 airplanes. So it's a totally different Avianca. And one of the arguments put forward is all about their connectivity, but their connectivity is going to be smaller.
Not only that, I think that you guys have something like 20 Airbus A320s on order. I know you guys did a $3.2 billion deal for engines recently. You guys are in growth mode.
Yeah, exactly. And low costs have been in Colombia since we started approximately 7 years ago. And if you take it into if you take what a mature market looks like with low-cost airlines, you take Southwest in the States or Ryanair in Europe, it should be about up to, 40 to 50% of the market. And we're only just a little bit over 20%. So Viva has a long run to grow, and we have another 35 airplanes coming in the next couple of years.
I did some back of the napkin calculations, and it seems that if Viva, if Avianca got almost $400 million, then if that were going to be proportionate with Viva, then you guys would be getting at least $100 million.
Yeah, we think it's a little bit over that, but we're not going to. We want to be careful about putting too much pressure on this government and Colombia, because there's a lot more kind of priorities when it comes to people's health and PPE and all the issues that are going on in the streets. And, lockdown is very hard for people, and we understand that, but we just don't understand why nearly $400 million have been given to a bankrupt airline.
Not just that, it's weird because, their alliances and ties with United Airlines, which has been a big investor in there. I've predicted in the past, and maybe I've been wrong. I don't think I am, but I think that it's kind of United's problem to solve, and United, which counts on Avianca for its South American access, would be the logical entity that would step up and do that. I find it hard to believe that if the Colombian government had not done this, there are not enough interested parties outside that would have come and done this. It just smells bad to me if I look at it, and I'm trying not to be biased, but I am really surprised and shocked.
It's a very valid point, Loren. If you take the US, which is the most advanced aviation market in the world, effectively, it's like giving all the money to Delta and not giving any to Southwest or United or anybody else. So I think that just highlights the example.
What are the next steps? So you guys obviously are I'm sure that you're negotiating with the government and trying to resolve things. What without disclosing anything strategic? What are the options that are available to you, and what do you foresee happening in the near future?
We're obviously going to go back to the government, and we're thinking of resubmitting our requirement, but we haven't decided upon that yet. But effectively, we will be representing to them in the strongest way possible that this is unfair, and it's not our nature to go down the road of legal options or anything else like that. But I can't rule them out at this stage because we need to get this resolved, and we have 1,000 employees, and Medellin's our home, and it's very important. And I don't know how people would fly in Colombia without Viva, because our fares are at the right price, and so we're going to try to. I think the best words I could use at the moment is mediate with government. And hopefully they will deliver on their promise, Loren, because it wasn't just in this conference call, but President Duque also made it in a particular press conference where he reassured the other carriers, including Easyfly and so on, that we will all be treated equally.
It doesn't look good with his own sister being the chief commercial officer for Avianca. Even if they were going to do that, I would just for the perception, maybe announce that in conjunction with saying, here's what we're going to do for all the airlines, including Easyfly that's also in bankruptcy. Maybe if there's something that they're going to do with Latam, perhaps. But I think it's just really, it just doesn't pass the smell test that things came out the way that they did. But you also mentioned something that I've seen. I can think of some people I know, some of my wife's friends who the first time they ever flew, maybe they were from a humble background, and the first time they flew was on Viva Air. They took a vacation to Santa Marta, and one of her friends was terrified just because she'd never been on an airplane before. And it's hard for people like us who travel under normal circumstances every single week to conceive of that. But I've seen that case, and I've talked to some people where it really has made flying. I mean, the prices is funny because I mentioned I'm up here by the airport. It's less expensive to fly on Viva Air to Bogota and back than it is to take the white cars, the taxis from the airport into the city. And I was calculating, I said, it's actually, the flight's cheaper than the taxi, and it's pretty amazing. Sure. Have I left any? Go ahead.
I'll touch upon what is happening with passengers in Colombia in a minute. With regard to President Duque and his sister, it doesn't pass the smell test, and I don't want to be throwing stones at any particular situation. I have to say, if it was my sister, I'd ask her to get a job somewhere else, because no matter what company your family work for, you're always going to get a serious cloud over it when you make a decision like this. Yeah, listen, buses are pretty hard going in Colombia and other parts of South America. And invariably what happens around the world, Loren, is people don't value their time enough and themselves enough. And, taking a 9-hour bus ride to Bogota when you could fly at $25, I just don't see the reason why people would waste that amount of time. And there's also security and all other factors, safety as well. So yeah, we're taking a lot of traffic from the buses, and it's great. There's nothing nicer than seeing first-time flyers on Viva, and I think it helps marriages. I think it helps romance. I think it helps family. And if you're not getting on with your sister, you can say, well, listen, I'll fly down and let's have dinner and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really important for the synthetic of an economy and the people.
I remember back in the early 2000s when I first started traveling to Colombia, and I took a bus, my first bus trip to to Bogota, and I wanted to see the countryside. So I said, I'll take the bus so I can see the countryside. Well, there was a landslide that blocked the freeway, and we were stuck out in the middle of nowhere for 12 hours.
Oh,
We couldn't go. You couldn't turn around because you're on the side of a mountain. So we just had to sit there until some bulldozers or something came and rescued us. And you don't have that problem when you're
yeah.
flying. And also we've also spoken to some people recently about the some technical people there at Viva about the HEPA filtration systems and how it's much safer.
I was going to raise that point, and thank you for bringing it up. The aircraft filtration systems are excellent. You get a new quantity of air every couple of minutes. And during the lockdown, the buses were full. And, that can't be safe. And I'm talking about biosecurity now. And the buses, people weren't wearing masks. And, they say social distancing, Loren, is a phrase for people who have money and wealthy. It's very hard in Colombia to social distance, and even in some of the townships and so on. So there's a lot of advantage to flying, and also how does a doctor who's needed in Bogota get from Cartagena? But hopefully things will open up now.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see that the airlines have started. You all have started to fly again domestically. Hopefully, we'll get the international routes open as soon as possible. One good sign is that I would know the majority of inquiries that we get from readers are people asking, when is the airspace going to open back up? I have business I need to do in Colombia. I have, the mining sector, the petroleum sector, even people who are ready to go on vacation and get down here and just have family and friends they need to visit. So I don't think that the demand will be slow in returning once we're able to, once the borders open back up.
Yeah, and I think that's correct. And our own view is short-haul traffic will recover first. I think business traffic is a bit different. And if you have a long-haul flight between Bogota and Madrid, I think you'll think twice about that. But hopping up to Cartagena or 2 or 3 hour flight, we think will be fine.